Yes, James, how you doing? We are live.
Hi, Andy. How you doing?
Podcast. Yeah, good. Nice to have Johan Ghazali joining us a little bit later on in the show. It's 10 o'clock here in Kuala Lumpur. James is over in Hua Hin in Thailand. And JoJo should join us in about 10 minutes' time. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. What a day of news, James, it's been. Where should we start? I think that Denver card is shaping up nicely. How surprised were you to wake up to that one?
Yeah, we had Jonathan Haggerty and Johan Ghazali booked as our guests, and it was like boom, boom. You know, I wake up and Haggerty's got a huge fight, and then like an hour later, Ghazali's got a fight. So yeah, it's all happening.
Ghazali fighting Nguyen Tran Duy Nhat, and it's going to be a really interesting one because he's double his age and really handy veteran. I commentated on him a couple of times when he was fighting Letway in WLC. A nice step up in competition for JoJo. Really interested to see how he fancies that one. He's won his last 5 in 1, an absolute rising star in the game. And Haggerty Superlek, this one has been rumored for a while. Were you at all surprised when that was confirmed?
Not really. I mean, I question whether that was a step up for Ghazali, though. I mean, if you look at the guys that he's been beaten on the Friday Fight Series, you know, you could definitely make an argument for them being tougher opposition than the ones he's been matched with since he actually signed that contract. In terms of Haggerty, though, no. I mean, I think that Superlek fight, you know, because Superlek had already beaten him once, and you know, everyone was thinking Haggerty was going to fight maybe Superlek, maybe Nico Carrillo, maybe the Rodtang trilogy. And when his last fight, when the Lobo fight was announced, I think people were underwhelmed. Obviously, it turned out to be like a really good fight, but I don't think people kind of anticipated that. There was this one. I mean, this is the fight that I think people wanted to see. This is the fight that I think Haggerty probably wanted. I think this is the fight to make, and it's happening in America as well, which definitely kind of brings a little more interest, I think.
Yeah, it seemed to be on the cards. There were lots of rumours, but when they brought Superlek to Lumpini for the Lobo fight, and Superlek was quite clear, I want to move up in weight and I want to rematch Jonathan Haggerty. It did seem to be like that was the one. We've got a little bit of a wait, though, until it happens. And Superlek, throughout his career, has been so active. I would love it if they managed to squeeze one in before then. I'm not sure if that would happen. What do you reckon?
I don't think there's any chance of an additional fight being announced now. But, I mean, you look at Stamp, who has 2 fights booked, which is quite unusual. But I think that's testament to just how popular Stamp has proved to be in America. She fought on the last card in Denver. And by all accounts, her and Rodtang got the biggest cheers of the night. You know, Stamp, it's not just the fighting, it's the dancing. She's really charismatic. She's really popular. And I think One Championship have looked at that and said, you know what, we want Stamp to headline our next American card. But of course, she's already got a fight booked. So she's got a fight booked in June, I think it is. And then she's got another fight booked in September. So it's going to be a busy few months for Stamp.
Yeah, let's have a little look at the card now. You should be able to see it in your screen. Xiong Nan, I was there in Singapore when she beat Wonder Girl in the mixed rules. Stamp had just won the world title, and those two have been talking about fighting each other for a while. Stamp loves a challenge, doesn't she? We've seen Xiong Nan be able to stifle people's styles before. Both these women love to strike. Are we going to see a stand-up battle? Is the Panda going to be able to stifle Stamp, do you reckon?
I don't know. I mean, my only concern in terms of Stamp would be the size and the power, because Xiong Nan, she is primarily a boxer. But, you know, Stamp, she's only 5'2", which is a decent size for an atom weight, but for a straw weight, it's really on the small side. I think I'm just looking it up now. I think she's going to be giving away 3 inches in height. And so in a stand-up battle, obviously Stamp's got more weapons. You know, she's got the knees, she's got the elbow, she's got the kicks. But how much more power are Xiong Nan's punches going to have, just because she's going to be the bigger, taller fighter? So that would be my only concern for Stamp in that fight. I think stylistically, it could be a bad fight for Xiong Nan, in that Stamp has so much more experience in terms of the striking. But I'd be concerned about Xiong Nan's power, you know, against an opponent who's not a big atom weight, who's moving up in weight. If Stamp gets hit, you know, how's she going to cope?
Yeah, both these women have delivered so much history in one championship. Have enjoyed both of them fighting a lot. I think it'll be really interesting to see how well they're received in the US. As two fights go on a card, I think this is pretty sexy to announce bang bang, two in one day, two title fights. I know the American audience is a big fan of Stamp. They love the walkout. She is a star. I think she's one of the biggest success stories in the history of one. It's a hell of a challenge for her. I mean, Xiong Jingnan hits hard, but the thing is, every time we've seen Stamp, I think she's proven that she can get better and better. I was shocked when she armbarred Ritu Pogat, who was touted to be one of the best grapplers in that division, just showing you that she can level up. And when you hear people talk about her at Fairtex, everyone's impressed. And whenever you speak to her, her drive, her will to just get better and better is there for all to see. So I'm interested to see how she steps up to this. One of the biggest challenges she's faced to date. I mean, when Xiong Jingnan lets her hands go, I was in Jakarta many years ago when she fought Tiffany Teo, and Tiffany Teo has unbelievable heart, and she took a beating. I think it was ended in the fourth. And just seeing up close just how hard the Panda can hit. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. But if anyone can stand up to it, it's Stamp. Have you got any kind of prediction for this one?
Yeah, like you say, I just think the size difference. I don't, we see a lot with one championship, fighters kind of bouncing around between different weight classes. And it depends on, their body frame. You look at someone like Anatoly Malikin, and he was able to switch seamlessly. He's gone from heavyweight down to middleweight. But every one of those divisions, he's been able to have a training program, a nutrition program that's just made sure that he's come in at a good size, a good weight for the division. I think if you're Stamp Fairtex and you're 5'2", it's very different. It's very difficult to bulk up to strawweight. But then, having said that, you look at Loma. You look at Loma Lukbonmi, who's probably the same size as Stamp and has been fighting strawweight for since she signed with the UFC, because the UFC doesn't have an atomweight division. And Loma, she's obviously she's had to bulk up. She's had to put on a lot of muscle. She's had to change her kind of her body type. But she's done a really good job of it. So I guess maybe if Stamp Fairtex can do that, she's got her fights in June, so that gives her July, August. It's not a long time in terms of completely changing your body shape. But then I guess Anatoly Malikin did it. So maybe she can do it. I would just be concerned.
Yeah, he did it in an unbelievable way. We've got a comment from Jack Wolf. Why are we pretending that Xiong Jingnan isn't ring rusted and aging? I don't know.
How old is he? How old is Xiong Jingnan?
She's 36 years old. Guys, leave your comments in the YouTube. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can, even if they are somewhat negative.
Yeah, I mean, my only response to that is, yes, if you're underwhelmed by Xiong Jingnan's recent performances, then you are well within your rights to be underwhelmed, because a lot of them have been underwhelming. But whether that's an age thing, I haven't seen a huge change in her fighting style or her approach since she signed for one championship. So in terms of age, I don't know if that's a sign of ring rust. I just think that is her style. And in certain respects, it's not the most fan-friendly style.
Sorry if the writing's a bit small. Wiki isn't always the best guide, but sometimes it's useful. If you look at her record, I really enjoyed that trilogy with Angela Lee. I thought it was epic. Their fights were quality.
The first two, the last one was just so exciting. I think it was the first 2 rounds, wasn't it? I think the first round Angela was on top, and then the second round, Xiong Jingnan was so close to stopping her. Apologies if I've got confused there. And then the next 3 rounds, she kind of knew under the one championship scoring that she'd done so much that she was going to be ahead unless Angela did something dramatic. And the next 3 rounds, she did nothing. And so that's, it's decision, 4 in a row, 5-round fights, which have just not been memorable fights, not been entertaining fights. And I think that's the main criticism. Obviously, we're missing from there the kind of the mixed rules boxing match, where there was also a big asterisk there just because there was a lot of illegal shots in the build up to the finish. So, I think that's, the criticism of Xiong Jingnan. I wouldn't say, she's old and she's aging. I would say she maybe just has a slightly cautious approach, whereby once she realizes she's ahead on the scorecards, she takes her foot off the gas, and that's not what fans want to see. It's not what they pay to see, and that's perhaps the reason that, yes, she's a champion. Yes, she's been a champion for 6 years, but she's not really a fan favorite.
What are your initial thoughts on this Superlek Haggerty fight? Then Haggerty is on a tear. I think he's on the form of his career, and I think he's a different animal to when they first fought. That was a doctor's stoppage and shouldn't have been, in my opinion. Superlek is an absolute beast, though. One of my favorite fighters on the planet. I don't mind saying that, but Haggerty's so much fun to watch as well. As a spectacle, I love it. I know Nico Carrillo fans and Hiroki Yakamoto fans, they don't love it so much. We've got JoJo Ghazali joining us now, so we'll ask his opinion on that one. Gonna add JoJo now. JoJo, how you doing, mate? Good to see you.
What's up? How are you guys?
Yeah, really good. Good to see you.
Welcome on board.
We were just chatting about this Stamp Fairtex versus Xiong Nan fight. 2 massive fights announced. Well, more than that, we had your fight announced this morning as well. There was some big news to wake up to over here in Asia. And what was your reaction to these announcements?
To which ones?
Well, we had Superlek versus Haggerty 2. And,
yeah. Big fights are coming up. I saw Superlek versus Haggerty. I saw Stamp has 2 fights, right? She's fighting on the same night as I am, right?
Yeah, you're fighting Impact Arena, yes, in June. That's 167, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that one's been headlined by Stamp. She's fighting Denise Zamboanga, and then she's moving up in weight to fight Xiong Nan at I think it's 169.
Yeah. It's cool to see, like these Haggerty and Superlek have a history. They fought once. I bet, and he's moving up weight, right? He's fighting on bantamweight, right? Wait, just a second.
Superlek's moving up. Superweight's the flyweight kickboxing champion. He would have won the flyweight Muay Thai title, but he missed weight ahead of his fight with Rod Tang. So he's the flyweight kickboxing champion, and he's moving up in weight. He's fighting for Haggerty's Muay Thai belt. So it's the bantamweight Muay Thai belts on the line.
Yeah. Why can't I see you guys?
We can see you. We can see you. You're looking very smooth with the suit.
Yeah. JoJo.
All right. Okay, so what was the question again?
Are we good to go sideways with your screen so that so it fills the screen there? I think you've got to unlock the screen as well. Perfect. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, we got some fan questions coming in, so leave comments in the YouTube, guys, if you want to ask JoJo a question. But as a fighter, I just wanted to ask you about this Stamp versus Denise situation. How do you see it? They're 2 friends. They used to train together all the time, make TikTok videos together all the time. It's a storyline that's pretty intriguing. If you were friends with somebody, but you're both going for a world title, would that be any kind of issue for you?
What I've learned with these Thai fighters is that they treat fighting as a job. It's like work for them. It's all business. Like for them, like I've had some fights with some Thais. We had breakfast together, and at night we're beating each other's heads in. So for them, it's just another day. I don't think it means too much to Stamp, but I'm not sure about Denise's side. Yeah.
I've heard people who used to fight in China. If you ever listen to there's a podcast that Israel Adesanya did where he's talking about his time fighting in China. But I've heard people who are doing like Muay Thai kickboxing in China complaining that the promoter has put them in the same hotel room as their opponent. So they're literally they're sharing a hotel room with their opponent the night before they fight.
Yeah, I know. It happens more than you guys think, but I've seen especially fighting on One Lumpini recently, I've seen the main event fighters. I saw one of them. I think it was Sangmani and Kulabdam. They were playing games together before they got in the van to go to the stadium, and then they fought each other. So I feel
those guys, they must be so familiar with each other because they both kind of coming up in the stadium scene. They must have fought on the same cards quite a few times. I wanted to ask you about that actually. I read somewhere that you lost your first 5 fights in Thailand. Is that true?
I did. I lost. Yeah, my first 5. you know, by the time I got to my fourth fight, I wasn't looking to win. I was just looking to fight.
So what sort of fights were you fighting? Which stadiums were you fighting in? Like, what sort of opponents were you fighting?
For the first 4 fights, I fought at Max Muay Thai in Pattaya. You know,
Okay.
like, but yeah, the only intention I came to Thailand to fight was to get experience. You know, we weren't really looking to win that much. And my 5th fight, I fought in Lumpini. I got my ass beat again, but it's all a learning curve, you know. But
Who did you fight in Lumpini? Who was your
I'm
opponent?
not sure. I forgot his name. Yeah, I was like 40 kilos, I think, 40 kilos.
I mean, even like Max Muay Thai, I mean, that's a big televised show. You know, it didn't
Yeah,
necessarily have like the top fighters, but they were good fighters, and there were like millions of people would watch Max Muay Thai. So that's
yeah,
it's quite a big
it was
sort
a big
of
show
platform.
back then. Yeah.
Make your debut on. How was prior to that? Had you just been competing in Malaysia?
Before that, I fought on like a few amateur world championships, you know, but yeah, but even then, my coach said the only goal was like in the early days was to get as much experience as you can, you know. Then we weren't really thinking about making money or winning any fights. We were just looking to get as much experience as we can, and then once I get to a certain weight, like I got to 55, 57, then we really targeted to start winning and making money.
I think that's a great thing about Muay Thai is that like you can lose fights. You know, you look at like
Yeah,
Nongo.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he once
There's
lost
no
like
padded
4 or
records
5
like
in a
boxing.
row. Like maybe like I think Segsan might have had a time when he lost like 4 or 5 in a row, and it's like if you do that as like a boxer, you know, that's it. You know, your career is pretty much over. But in Muay Thai, like they fight so often that you can go through like spells like that, and you can bounce back.
Yeah. You see some of these boxers, they lose one fight and everyone's telling them to retire. So it's different. Yeah.
And then it all kind of came together for you. You've been absolutely taking people out in one championship. What changed? Where did it all start to click? I mean, the fact is, people need to remember you're 17. A lot of people, when they're 17, are, let's not talk about what we were doing when we were 17. I mean, it's mentally, physically, what you're delivering is unbelievable. And I think you're a generation of guys coming through, really exciting guys in one championship who are just on a tear. Like, why did it suddenly click for you? Was it just experience? When did you start to realize that you're the man when it comes to this?
I think of course, you know, everyone says this, but it's my work ethic. You know, I work harder than anyone in the gym. You can ask anyone who's trained with me in my whole life. I've always trained harder than anyone. Win or lose, I always come back to the gym the next day and train hard. And a big factor as well, I think the small gloves really helped me. You know, that because when I discovered that what I can do with the small gloves, it changes everything. You know, one shot can change the whole fight. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that because I saw like your first 2 one championship fights, and both of them it was like, you know, just the right hand and like bang. Were you knocking people out with your right hand when you were fighting in 8-ounce gloves, or is that something that's only really happened in the MMA gloves?
When I was fighting in like 8, 10, 12-ounce gloves, actually I was, you know, to be honest, I think in the amateurs, I was wearing headgear. I was kind of shocking myself once I got to like a weight at like 57 kilos. You know, I fought at 57 kilos. I started to shock myself. You know, I would punch these guys with 12-ounce gloves and headgear on, and their face would be all busted up, and I'd be scared of myself for some time.
But would you be dropping them? Would you be? I mean, because like we saw your first 2 fights, you knock them. You hit them once, you knock them down. They don't get up again. Was that happening before? Or is that kind of a new thing with the MMA gloves?
Normally, and like with the 12-ounce gloves, I'd rock them, but not really out cold, you know. So the MMA gloves really changed a lot, and it works to my advantage, so that's good.
We got a fan question here, guys. Get your comments in on YouTube. JoJo, here's a Yamuddin Cool. I'm sure that's your real name. JoJo, how % are you ready for your fight with Nguyen? Yeah, I mean, look, this is so fresh. It's about time we got to it. I love this matchup for you, man. How excited were you when you saw his name? How familiar are you with him? I think he won a SEA Games gold medal for Vietnam. So he's legit.
Nguyen has been around for a pretty long time. You know, he's experienced. He's a good fighter. He's fast. He's a lot older than me. I think he's like 35 or something, right? So he's
Yeah,
like
more than double
at
your
least
age.
16, 17 years older than me. So, uh, yeah, I'm excited to showcase to the world what I can do. I'm looking forward to showing the people that I belong here at one. You know, I can fight a season one championship fighter. That means I belong here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And how much percent am I ready to fight Nguyen? Honestly, like after my last fight, I took I'd say at most 2 weeks off. Then I was back in the gym. So um, I wasn't
Which
training like crazy intense, but I was in the gym every day. Yeah.
which gym do you train at?
I train at Rentap Muay Thai. It's a family-owned gym with my coach. Yeah.
So who's your coach?
My coach is Eddie Singpaya. He's pretty well known in the Muay Thai scene. You know, like old school Muay Thai. So
Is he Malaysian?
yeah, no, he's Thai. He's Thai.
He's Thai. Okay.
So looking at some of this footage of Nguyen, like
Oh dear.
to deal with his range, his experience.
But
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you just
what do you
froze
think
for
of
a
his
second.
kicks? His kicks, his range, how are you going to deal with that? Yeah, if we look at this footage, I mean, his kicks stand out to me.
Yeah. I saw a few of his fights. You know, he's agile. I think his biggest weapon is the head kick. So that's my friend actually. You know, he's a Malaysian. So I'm looking forward to getting some revenge for him.
Yeah, I think he's 4-0 against Malaysians. So, like, Malaysia Bole, let's go. Like, I think we need to start to
It's time to break
represent.
it. It's time to break it. Yeah.
That's it. And there's always that Southeast Asian rivalry, right? From, like, I mean, SEA Games, Suzuki Cup, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. I think Vietnam has been smashing it in football terms. So, like, in martial arts,
They
it's time for
have. You know,
Malaysia.
every time there's a football game from with Malaysia against Vietnam, everyone goes crazy. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask. So your last fight you fought Edgar Barbosa, was it?
Edgar Tabares, yeah, Tabares.
Tavares. So I always get those two confused. Edgar Tavares. So people talk about, you know, you signed like the multi-fight contract. Presumably when you were fighting on the Friday night shows, was that just like a one-fight deal every time?
Yeah, it was a one fight deal.
But then once you earn your contract, you get tied down, you get a multi-fight deal, and then you fight on the Saturday morning shows. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sometimes you get fights on the Friday nights, but
yeah, I suppose because you've got like next Friday, you've got like Nongo's fighting, isn't he? And Prajinsai's fighting. So
big events in Thailand.
But people talk about, you know, like stepping up to fight on the Saturday morning shows. I mean, do you think that the guys that you're fighting with on the Saturday morning, do you think that they're like a step up from the guys you were fighting with on the Friday nights?
Yeah, of course. You know, you can see the professionalism in the fighters that fight on Saturday morning. You can see how they carry themselves. You can see, yeah, I was pretty. I wasn't like shocked, but it was pretty cool to see that how far Muay Thai fighters have come. You know, it's like we can put ourselves on the same level as football players or basketball players. You know.
Okay, that's interesting because for me, like I look at guys like Gulab Dam and I guess Sexan's on the Saturday mornings now, but I look at a lot of the guys that are fighting on the Friday nights, and I think, you know, they're actually better than some of the fighters that I see on the Saturday.
I mean, I guess like some of them, of course, you know, like the high level ones on the main event cards are of course, some of them are better than the Saturday night ones, but in majority, like I'd say, yeah, it's Saturday morning fighters are more put together, I guess. I don't know.
And when you were doing Max Muay Thai, was that 3 rounders?
Yeah, it was 3 rounding.
So, like your background in Muay Thai, did you have a lot of kind of 3-round experience before you signed with One Championship?
Yeah, again, the funny thing is that was the plan. You know, my coach always said 5-round Muay Thai fights is slowly dying, and that's not where the money is going to be. So he'd always put us in 3-round fights, you know, 3-round fast pace, like all out, go kind of fights, you know, like we'd fight 5-round fights sometimes, but that's just for experience, but yeah, he'd prefer us to fight on 3-round fast-paced fights, and the
And
goal was
how long?
always to be in one championship. So yeah.
How long ago was this? How far back are we talking?
I'd say now 5 years ago I started.
Wow. So your coach was really ahead of his time, yeah?
Yeah. He knew.
Look at the rankings. What an exciting division you're in. Can you talk to us about the top 5 and how you see it right now? I mean, how far away are you, do you think, from breaking that top 5? Have you and your coach mapped out a trajectory for your career, or are you just enjoying every fight? And who excites you in that top 5?
It's packed. You know, you can see the top 5 it's packed with crazy fighters. You know, but of course, me and my coach were always planning for the future, and for us, I think we'll be in the top 5 by next year, inshallah. Yeah, next year.
What do you think of Superlek and what he's been able to do recently? How blown away were you by his performance against Takeru in a sport that he doesn't really compete much in? And I really want to know your thoughts on this Haggerty Superlek rematch.
Superlek, honestly, is the best. You know, he's the best in. I'd say he's the most how do I say it? Versatile fighter. You know, he can fight against any style, against anyone, and yeah, he's very versatile. He even in kickboxing, even if his best strikes are his elbows or his knees, he always finds a way to transition to his kicks or his punches or his head movement. You know, so watching him gonna go against Jonathan Haggerty is cool because you can see Jonathan Haggerty's style is unorthodox. You know, he switches stances. What are they fighting? Kickboxing or Muay Thai?
This Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. Oh, so yeah, that's. Honestly, I'll be rooting for Superlek for this one, but I still think Haggerty would still put on a pretty good fight. Yeah.
Are you interested in kickboxing, or are you really focused on Muay Thai?
Honestly, if you look at my style now, it's pretty much, it's not too much Muay Thai, so I think it wouldn't be too hard for me to transition into kickboxing. So maybe later.
Who do you see winning, Superlek or Haggerty?
I see Superlek winning. You know, he's just one step ahead of everyone. He's fought everyone. He's fought Seksan. He's fought Rotang. He's fought all the high level Thais. He's fought Haggerty too. He cut him, but the last fight, it was still pretty competitive. But I think it was a cut, wasn't it, that stopped it?
Yeah, stop it.
Cut him, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I'm with Superlek. So
Don't think he had. I was going to say I don't think Superlek's fought Seksan, but he has. He fought him a couple of times. Yeah, you're right.
He has.
Twice. Yeah, he beat him twice. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The last fight. I mean, it looked like Haggerty was kind of winning and he was in control, and then he got cut, and I couldn't see where the cut had come from. I still don't know.
Yeah, it was an elbow, I think. Yeah. That's what Superlek does. You know, his experience. I saw it lasted about 2 rounds, 3 rounds.
It was the end of the second round, yeah, and it looked.
Second
Haggerty was. It was a 5-rounder as well. The 5-rounders with the big gloves. So it's that style of fight. Normally, first couple of rounds is a feeling out process.
Yeah. So I guess after 2 rounds, you can't really say too much, but yeah, I see Superlek winning. The only thing that puts doubt in my mind is Superlek going up in weight. I don't think he's comfortable yet at that weight, but I feel like he'll adjust it.
Yeah, the height difference, you could see Haggerty was taller last time around, but it wasn't ridiculous. But obviously Haggerty must have been, that was 3-4 years ago. He's probably early 20s. So it'd be interesting to see what they look like now when they face off.
He's bigger, he's thicker now, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he does look a little bit bigger now. I'm not sure whether Superlek has grown in the same way.
Yeah.
Is Superlek a guy that you have to fight at some point? I mean, he's still not that old, right? But just in terms of the fact that he is a legend, is there a couple of guys who you just got to get in there with?
I mean, I'm open to fight anyone. Anyone who's in the way of me getting what I want. I guess, idol or not, I gotta go against everyone. Yeah.
Have you always been like a fan of Muay Thai? Have you always watched a lot of other people's fights?
Um, I say a fan of combat sports. I watch everything. I watch Muay Thai. I watch MMA. I watch boxing. I watch everything. So I'm a fan of martial arts. Yeah.
What do you have any favorite Muay Thai fighters? Are there any fighters you used to really like?
Used to, I'd say, used to back in the day, like he's still fighting now. I'd say Sexan. He's I've never
Sexan, yeah.
seen I've never seen Sexan in a boring fight. So yeah.
Never.
No, he had one fight with Rod
Never.
Tang where it was really boring. I don't know what went wrong there, but no, same. I've always enjoyed watching Sexan, and it's nice now just to see that he's getting paid. Because for so long he was fighting.
Finally.
Yeah, I mean he was fighting Lumpini Ratchadamner, and I don't know if he was getting like 200,000 baht or something, which back then was good money. But now if you look at the bonuses that he's getting,
350 for the small.
Yeah,
bonuses, right?
exactly. But he's someone you'd look at it, and if you hadn't been following Muay Thai and you just watched one championship, you'd be like, wow, Sexan, overnight success. He's come from nowhere and won 6 fights in a year. But it's like, no, he's been doing this a long, long time.
Sexan has been around. He's fought everyone. Yeah.
We've got to get your opinion on this card overall. What a banger. Let's go through it from the top. Superbon Marat. Marat.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you cut out for a second there, Andy. You've muted yourself, I think. Yeah, you've hit mute.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I want to go through this, guys, top to bottom, just because it's such a belter. I think James is going to be there live. Marek Grigorian looked back to his best in knocking out Sidichai. Just so much power. I mean, just think about that dude if he was wearing MMA gloves. Unbelievable. What do you think of this main event, JoJo? Superbon, we saw him against Tawan Chai in Muay Thai, but now he's back doing what he does best, right?
This is kickboxing, right?
Yeah, it's kickboxing.
Interim title, Chingiz Alazov. We don't know what's going on, but it's an interim title.
You saw Marat versus Chingiz. He put on a crazy fight against Chingiz, so I feel like it's gonna be a really hard fight for Superbon, but I'm still with Superbon. I love Superbon. I love his style. He's versatile. He's fast for his weight. He can kick. He can TP. He can punch. He has head movement, but at the same time, Marat Grigorian is like a tank. You can throw everything at him and he'll still come at you. So I feel like for Superbon to take this, he has to fight smart. Fight smart, use his teeps like he did his last fight. But I feel like coming into this fight, Marat will be a lot stronger than the last one.
You fought on must be like 5 or 6 of these cards at Lumpini now. Do you feel like the crowd is less into the kickboxing than the Muay Thai? Is there any noticeable difference?
It depends on who's fighting, honestly. But I'd say, I feel like the crowd enjoys Muay Thai a lot more. More blood. There's not too much rules. Yeah, I feel like the fans enjoy Muay Thai more.
What about the co-main? We've got another kickboxing world title fight. John DeBella defending the belt against Prajanchai. Prajanchai, he had that Laziri loss where I think he quit on the stool in round 4 and then won his next few fights, proved a point that he still got it. This is maybe DeBella's biggest test of his career. How do you see it going?
I'd say it's the hardest fight for Jonathan DeBella. Prajanchai, some people regard him as this generation Senchai. I love his style. Again, he's fast. He's this is in Muay Thai or kickboxing?
That's kickboxing. Isn't it?
Kickboxing, nice. So, I feel like I'm rooting for Tawan Chai on this fight because I don't really know Jonathan DeBella that much, but I feel like Prajanchai is gonna take it.
What else are you looking out for? I mean, Sexan fighting Yutaro Asami. We're going to see a lot more Japanese fighters on these cards. We spoke a little bit about Sexan, but what do you, as somebody who's a rising star, what do you take away from someone like Sexan?
Sexan is legend. Legend. He's You can see from his heart, there's no way to beat him if you don't knock him out cold. You know, he's never gonna stop. As long as long as he's still conscious, you know, he's gonna still come at you. So that's what I love about him. You know, the fans love him, everyone loves him. He puts on a show every time.
Do you think you're going to still be throwing flying knees in your mid-30s like Sexan?
I don't think I'll be wanting to fight in my mid-30s anymore.
What are you thinking, man? Because you have a lot going on, right? A lot of media interest. You could be like modeling, acting, whatever you want, really. So, how much do you love fighting? How long do you plan to do it for?
Of course, I love fighting. You know, fighting has been everything to me. Like, fighting is the pillar of my life. So, like, but you gotta think about it too, because how long do I really want to be in this game? Because it's dangerous. One, it's risky. 1 minute the fans love you, 1 minute they don't. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If I accomplish everything I want to do by before 25, I'd say 25. I'm out. But we'll see. If I have the belt, then we'll see what I do. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing because 25, I still see as so young. And that's, 7 years, 8 years from now. That's crazy. A question from Shah Reza. Question from Shah Reza. Since you're Malaysian USA, are you looking forward to fight in US soil and establish your fans in the US?
Of course, man. Of course. I have family in the US. They're in New Mexico. It's like right at the border of Colorado. So I saw the next fight is going to be in Denver. You know, it's in Colorado. It's easy for my family to go up and watch. Of course, if they offer me that fight, I'm going 100%. No doubt. No doubt, yeah.
We had a question about Rifdin Mastor. I mean, generally speaking, what other Malaysians should we be looking out for? Like, is there a pool of up-and-coming talent? Because I feel like there was a burst of talent after Mima, which is way back in 2016.
Yeah.
We've seen Agalantani fight Ben Askren for the belt. We've seen the Shadow Cat break the top 5. Big up Jihin Radwan, and she's fighting again. But we haven't seen anybody as who looks like they really have a shot of being a world champion like you, which is a reason people are getting excited. So who else have we got to look out for at the moment? I think Aleph looks great, right?
Aleph, yes, of course, Aleph. Aleph Rakib, you know, there's the other one, my brother Rifdin Masdo. He's not my brother. He's my brother from another mother. I have my real brother Ilyas Ghazali, my gym partner Kabilan Jalewan. They both fought on One Friday Fights. You know, I have my little brother coming up in weight. As soon as he gets to about 55 kilos, he'll be in one for sure. So you got to look out for him. My sister's coming up too. She's still pretty small, but I see potential, a lot of potential. So I hope that my fights will open up a lot more doors to more Malaysians getting on board, you know? Yeah, I want to see more Malaysians in one championship.
What has the vibe been like when people come up to you on the street? Is there an excitement about combat sports right now because we have a Malaysian who's doing cool things and knocking people out?
Definitely. Now in Malaysia, it is getting hectic. You know, out in public is getting hectic. So yeah, and I'm getting all sorts of like commercial jobs and stuff like this. You know, like, so it shows that slowly Muay Thai is growing in Malaysia, you know, and of course across the world because of one championship. So yeah,
how old are you now?
17, 18 this year.
Are you still in school or are you a full-time fighter?
No, I finished early this year. That's why I was off too long. I was finishing high school.
Oh, so you finished high school basically. You finished early, did you?
I finished high school, but yeah.
Congratulations, man. That must be a good feeling. Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Well, we got Firish asking about your training routine and prep for this fight. I guess we can see glimpses of it on your Instagram, but overall, you know, how would you answer that question?
Preparation has been like for the past 4 months since my last fight. I've just been keeping fit, slowly improving on small things. But leading up in these last 2 months, we'll start to crank it up, start training crazy hard. But now I'm still in the middle of Ramadan, so we're still fasting. It's pretty hard for me to train, and I'm still focusing on my deen, so with after Ramadan, we'll be back 100%. So we'll crank it up a lot, improve on whatever we need to improve and be better.
Do you travel at all? Do you spend any time like training at other gyms, or you exclusively at your local gym, your family gym?
Nah, I'm only at my gym. I wouldn't want to train anywhere else.
And are there lots of other high level fighters there for like the sparring and the clinching?
Yeah, of course. There's like I said, Kabilan just know he's fought on One Friday Fights a few times. I think it's 3 times. I have my older brother. He's fought on the Friday Fights for about 3 times. I have another training partner from Thailand. He's fighting for the what's it called, Super Champ belt next month. So we have a few high level fighters. Even if we start to lose some of them, we'll import some from Thailand, mostly from Thailand.
We got a question from Shah Reza. Other than that left hook to the body, can you tell us what's your other strongest weapon? And I don't know.
Isn't it?
What?
Got to be the right hand, no?
Of course, the right hand. People in Sarawak call it, how I swing so far, they say I swing it from Sarawak. That's where I'm from.
Awesome. And a lot of people talk about Rodtang. I love that clip of you guys meeting. I think it got millions of views. We spoke about this in our first interview, and I think you made it quite clear that you're looking to forge your own path in this game. But as a spectacle, given how fun he is, how fun you are, is it inevitable you're going to fight one day? Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe in the US one day?
Like I said just now, if he's if I'm at that point where I'm going to challenge for the belt and he's holding the belt, I have no choice. I have no choice. Like I said, it's business, but at the end of the day, I fear no man. I fear no man. I'm coming after everyone.
Are you making flyweight quite easily at the moment? Is that an issue?
I'd say there won't be any problem next fight. The last fight I had some problems with the hydration. The weight was fine. It was the hydration, so I feel like I'll fix it next fight. It'll be no problem.
But obviously, like I imagine you're still growing. I mean, long term, do you think you're still going to be at flyweight? By the time you're 20, 21.
I try to stay here as long as I can, but I think I'll inevitably have to move up to bantam, or maybe.
So like someone like Rodtang, you're probably going to outgrow him before that fight comes around. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe. Who knows? No.
What about Superlek? I mean, if you moved up to bantamweight, that would open up Superlek. Is that one you've got an eye on?
Of course. Anyone who has the belt, anyone who's in front of me, I'd say if whoever, yeah.
I mean, what about, do you look at those guys like Haggerty and Carrillo? I mean, size-wise, they must be a fair bit bigger than you, are they?
Yeah. They're big. I stood next to Nico. I was shocked. Damn, this guy's one weight class above me. I thought so. Yeah, so I'll try to hang on as long as I can in flyweight. But if I have to move up, I have to move up, man.
Nico Carrillo is an absolute monster for that weight class.
He is. You saw him standing next to Nong O.
Do you think Nico's bigger than Jonathan Haggerty? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Okay.
He's 5'10". I think he's big, dude. This card is going to be at Impact Arena. How interesting is that for you to fight there? And not just that. I mean, 3 really cool fights. Tawanchai has the best teep in the world at the moment, in my opinion, and is just so technically gifted. And then fighting Joe Nattawa again, who's always fun to watch. We've talked about Stamp Denise already, and I think with his kicks, Tran Duy Nhat is a really fun fighter. So how's this shaping up for you? Is this shaping up to be kind of one of the most epic nights we've seen in your career?
Definitely. This will be the biggest fight to date. This is my first fighting in an octagon. You know, I'm
It's going to be a cage, is it? It's a cage, not a ring.
Cage. Yep.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm
Circle,
slowly making
guys.
adjustments to
your
that.
one branding.
So, yeah, I think it's the first. It's Nguyen's first fight in an octagon in a cage too, right? I think so, maybe.
I'm not sure answer that. He's been in one championship a while, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I would be surprised because he fought when he first signed. He won like his first 2-3 fights, and then he didn't fight again for a few years. I think that was before the pandemic. And I think back then they were using a cage for everything, so I suspect he has had a couple in the cage.
Maybe, yeah.
Did he not? Yeah. Did he beat a Malaysian? I thought he beat a Malaysian.
He did. Yeah. He did. Aswan Chewil. He beat a few Malaysians. You know, all of them were in Malaysia. If you're a top fighter in Muay Thai, everyone knows each other. So it's not like Thailand. And you know, looking at the card, it's crazy to see. You know, sometimes I look at the card and I shock myself. You know, because I used to, when I started, like I said, fighting in Max Muay Thai in 2018. I'd say 2018. You know, Stanton was double champ, I think. During then, she was double champ. She was.
Yeah, she had the kickboxing and the Muay Thai titles, I think.
It's crazy to come and I'm fighting on the same card as her. And Tawanchai, I mean, Tawanchai even before one championship, he's always been hot stuff. Huh?
What's the difference between fighting in the circle or fighting in a ring? From a fighter's point of view, says Shah Reza.
I'd say it'd be harder for me because I'm a pressure fighter. You know, I like to be in the center, so it'd be harder for me to cut off my opponents. You know, so yeah, it should be no problem. But yeah.
Do you think is Nguyen, is he a fighter that likes to fight on the front foot, or is he someone that's going to kind of circle out and maybe use that cage?
I feel like anyone who goes against me ends up circling around the cage, so I feel like he'll start fighting on the back foot. Yeah.
When I first interviewed you, you said you wanted to be like the Conor McGregor from Malaysia for Muay Thai. I thought that was cool. I like people who have ambition to take things to new levels. How can Malaysia do more to support this sport, right? We all love this game, love this sport. I've lived in Malaysia for many, many years. What would you like to see happen to take this sport to the next level?
I would say funding, you know, put more money into facilities, get more coaches, more experienced coaches from Thailand, of course. If we're gonna depend on Malaysian coaches who have had like 1 or 2 fights and they open a gym, you know how it is, right? So it's not gonna work. We're gonna need some experienced coaches from Thailand, good training partners. So yeah, that's the way to go to start, man.
JoJo, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I know you got to get on. Just lastly, are we going to see another special? Are we going to see another special from you, another finish?
Absolutely. Every fight, you know, I'm trying to break my 16-second record. So if I get it in 15 seconds, that's the plan, you know, 15 seconds.
And it's bigger bonuses now. How many of those $10,000 bonuses did you pick up last year?
I've had 3. I was supposed to have the last 50,000, but I missed the hydration. So yeah.
Oh, right. Ouch! That's got to sting.
It did, definitely did.
Mate, JoJo, you're the man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Look forward to catching you again, man. Good luck with training. Good luck in your fight. Cheers. That was JoJo Ghazali, absolute top man. And what a talent. You know, James, I've been in here in Malaysia for a long time, and it's so exciting to see a guy who can take the sport to the next level. And there are others as well who are doing really interesting things. I mentioned Alif, I think, is fighting on this upcoming card.
So is Alif? I think it's Alif, because he was announced as Malaysian, and then Keanu, is it Keanu? It's Gianni Suba, isn't it, who does the commentary, who's also like a Malaysian, interviewed him, and then they got like the translator in, and the translator was, and he was, I think, was that Alif?
Quite. I don't know. I can't remember what you're talking.
I think it might be Alif. I think Alif is like fluent in Thai. I don't know if like Gianni doesn't speak Malay or if Alif doesn't speak Malay. But it's just funny. It was like a Malaysian interviewing a Malaysian, and they had like the translator in translation it into Thai for him.
So he's fighting Zhang Peimian, which should be a fascinating fight because there was really a lot of buzz around him for a while, and Alif is young, so talented.
Yeah, I mean they're both 20. Yeah, they're both 20. Both fighters are 20, so they're both like young, like up and coming prospects.
Yeah, let's get that card back up because it's such a banger. I just want to ask you, as a guy you've been covering Muay Thai longer than I have. You've been in this game a while. Tawan Chai, I just think he's so special. I would love just half an hour learning about his team. It'd take a lot longer than that, but he's just special. What do you think of him?
Yeah, he's a very, very technical fighter. You know, he's a southpaw, which I think some opponents sometimes struggle with, and particularly when you got like Tawan Chai's style, where he's got a very cerebral style. He's very, very intelligent, but then when he spots that opening, he's devastating. You know, you look, I think he won a couple of punches with that straight left. You know, like devastating. He's won fights with low kicks. He's won. I think it was David Kirrier when he actually broke his arm with that body kick. So he's got a little bit of everything. He's just a very like clever, tricky, technical fighter. Very, very difficult to beat. And I mean, if you look at his one championship record, the only person that beat him was Chai, and that was a split decision. So I mean, Tawan Chai is absolutely. He's at the top of the Muay Thai game now with one championship. And he was at the top of the Muay Thai game before he signed with one championship as well. So he's been where he is for a while.
Talk to me about Jake Peacock. I find this a really intriguing addition because he's such a talent, you know, UK Canadian, but only because the name Peacock, of course, he's been on the radar for a long time because he smashes people. But his dad used to play for Chelsea. I mean, we're a bit older, right? So we remember well Gavin Peacock in his Chelsea days, and it seems like the athleticism has run through. Jake Peacock has a bit of a cult following, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't, as a Muay Thai fighter, I don't know anything about him. I know his dad was like a little bit before my time. I think sort of like 80s, maybe early 90s. But he played for Chelsea, played for Newcastle. Obviously, you know, if you follow football, you've heard of Gavin Peacock. So it's an interesting story because his dad was a footballer and his dad's dad was a footballer as well. So he comes from like a family of footballers, and he was born with just one arm, which, you know, in terms of playing football, obviously it would be a disadvantage. But if you had the talent, I don't think it would be an insurmountable obstacle. Whereas, you know, like combat sports where, you know, you can punch with your left, you can punch with your right, straight away you've only got one hand. It's much more difficult. So for him to kind of like pursue the career path that he's pursued and have so much success, you know, it's an inspirational story. I know it's the sort of thing. I saw a photo recently of Chatri went and visited him. I think it was at the PK Sanchai gym, and we know that's the sort of thing that Chatri likes. So yeah, it's an inspirational story. But then, you know, he's obviously he's only going to be inspirational for so long as he keeps winning fights, and it'll be very, very interesting. I don't really know anything about this Japanese fighter that he's fighting, so yeah, it'll be fascinating because, you know, it's probably going to be the first time that anyone's seen who is that guy? Was it Baxter Humby or something? There was one before, but for most people, it'll be the first time they've ever seen a fighter at any level with only one hand.
Yeah, I just remember seeing YouTube videos of him absolutely crushing people. This was about 5 years ago. He's just very, very good, very, very aggressive, comes forward, puts the pressure on. So interested to see how he does. We've got Shadow as well, who's got a bit of a cult following in Thailand. Muay Thai as well on the card. Nong O, who's got a massive point to prove. Still thinks he can be a world champion at 37 years old against Kulab Dam. That's a banger as well.
That's the one I'm really looking forward to because, I mean, I saw Kulab Dam. I saw what he did to Tyson Harrison his last time out. And I mean, he just absolutely destroyed him. And back in the day, I mean, going back a few years, you know, certainly before one championship probably even started putting on Muay Thai fights, it was like when a top Thai fighter fought a non-Thai fighter, it was just a question of like, what round was the Thai fighter going to win in? You know, like the difference in level was so great. And obviously now you've got guys like, you know, Jonathan Haggerty that are coming in that are beating the top Thai. So the game has changed in that respect. But just the way that Kulab Dam just absolutely took the fight to Harrison, and just looked at him, was like, okay, you might be like 4 inches taller than me and 5 kilos bigger on fight night. I don't know. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe 5 pounds bigger. But I'm just going to take the fight to you, and I'm just going to punish you, and I'm just going to target the body. And it was just such a dominant performance, and he just made that size difference. It looked like nothing on the night, the size difference. So I was really excited by that, and I saw that, and I was like, do you know what? I would like to see Gulab Dan. Maybe he's the man to beat Jonathan Haggerty. Maybe he's the man to beat Nico Carrillo, just because he just absolutely destroyed a fighter that was so much bigger. But now he's got Nongo. He didn't get the contract. I thought he should have got the contract on the back of that win, but now he's got Nongo instead. And Nongo, of course, has got a point to prove, and he's coming off those 2 losses. But like, you look at the first round against Nico Carrillo.
About this. So Gulab Dan is under contract. I was asking about this. He's got a 1 championship contract.
He did get signed, did he? But I don't think that ever got announced.
Probably not, but I definitely checked on it because he's brilliant, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't, but he is.
Okay, no, he's good. He deserves that. But if you look at what he did to Nico Carrillo in that first round, Nico Carrillo barely made it out of the first round in that fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. 37 years old, still coming after the belt. Has he got it in him?
It's difficult to say because, people forget, coming into that fight with Haggerty, no one gave Haggerty a chance. Haggerty was coming off, I think it was like a majority decision win over Vladimir Kuzmin, and I think he missed weight as well. And so people were looking at it and being like, why have you given him a title shot? And then Nongo had won, 10 out of 10 or something? Was, I think, coming off that, the stoppage over Alaverdi Ramazanov, I think it was, at the first ever Friday fights. And Nongo was like so dominant. And I don't think many people thought Haggerty had a chance in that fight. And then obviously, a year on, Haggerty beat him and then Carrillo beat him. And you're saying, okay, Nongo's past it. And maybe he is past it, but I don't know. He gave Carrillo a hard time in that first round. So it'll be very interesting. But it's such a tough fight for Nongo. And you look at the fights that Sexan's getting, where Sexan keeps getting these fights against guys that some of them I'm not that familiar with, And he's almost on like a retirement tour, but Nongo's just fighting like the best of the best.
Last few minutes then, let's briefly cover the Saturday card because we haven't given it much time at all. Of course, if you're a fan of grappling, the Ruotolo brothers always bring the entertainment. I think what they're doing for submission grappling is pretty innovative. And they're always, I spoke to them both this morning, just unbelievably talented. I think they'll sail off into the sunset like JoJo was saying by the age of 25. I think we'll see these guys pack up all their world titles and go surfing in Costa Rica. And Regin Ursel, what can you say about him? Just an absolute monster. What his work ethic and ability together is just unbelievable. And I think Alexis Nicholas is in for a tough evening or a tough morning.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it. So Alexis Nicholas, he's coming off a win on one of the Friday night shows. I didn't see that fight. So he's a bit of an unknown quantity, but certainly for me, Regin Ursel has just been so dominant. He's won, I think it's like 6-7 in a row for one championship and never really looked like losing. There was that first fight with, not Sudsakan Sorklinmi, what's his name? It's his brother, isn't it? Sinsamut Sorklinmi. That first fight where actually Sinsamut pushed him all the way and the decision was a little bit controversial, and you could say, oh, okay, maybe he's, met his match. But then the second fight, he knocks him out. What better way to prove that, I am better than that guy than to knock him out in the rematch. He's so dominant, and he's definitely like up there when you're talking about the best pound for pound fighters on the roster. Ursel's up there. Ben Tynan as well, though. Like I'm not a massive fan of the submission grappling, so I've just skipped over 2 of the bouts. But Ben Tynan, that's a charismatic heavyweight. And I'll be interested to see if he wins that fight. He could be in title contention.
Yeah. Ursel, remember he's beaten Nicky Holskin twice. And that left hook to the body against Sinsamut. He is just the absolute main man. Guys, a big thank you for your questions today. Really good to see you. We're going to try and bring you some of the most exciting guests that we can on this show. We will continue. We're supposed to catch up with Jonathan Haggerty today, but he was not feeling too well. So
soon, Jonathan.
Yeah, we really good to see JoJo Ghazali. What an exciting talent he is. We'll be back soon. James will be on the ground covering the fights. So give us a shout, SCMP Martial Arts, if you have any questions you want us to ask. Until then, we'll see you later. It's been good.